My name is Jayesh Doolani, and I'll be presenting our work on LociMotion, a training interface to learn a strong random password in a single training session. For high value secrets such as master passwords and sysadmin accounts, passwords must be strong and should not be written down. But this places an incredible burden on users to both generate and remember a strong secret. LociMotion is a training interface that helps users memorize 12-character random passwords based on the method of loci memory technique. LociMotion has a 99% recall success rate after 1 day, and unlike the spaced repetition technique, in which users need up to 2 weeks of training to learn a password, it works in a single training session. The LociMotion training interface is made up of two components: a dynamically generated video clip and a cup and ball game. Based on the method of loci memory technique, the video clip contains a virtual tour of a house where we pick 12 key locations or loci in and around the house. Each of the loci is tied to a specific letter of the password. We selected 26 common objects that visually represent the 26 letters of the English alphabet. Depending on the generated random password, 12 of these objects would appear at the 12 loci of a virtual house. For example, given this randomly generated password, a ball for B would appear above the mailbox before entering the house. A violin for V would appear at the front lawn, and so on. The other component of LociMotion is a cup and ball game, where the user is trying to catch a falling ball by moving the cup under it. Instead of using the arrow keys to move the cup left and right, the user must instead type a specific chunk of the password to move the cup under the ball before it hits the ground. The game screen is divided into 4 columns, each column representing a 3-letter chunk of the password. For this randomly generated password, the first column is associated with the chunk ABC, the second with the chunk DEF, and so on. The game has 8 levels, including 2 levels that serve as a mental break for the user from the memorization process. The science behind LociMotion's long-term memory training is based on a combination of declarative memory, such as the ability to recall locations or addresses, and procedural memory, which is responsible for acquiring motor skills, such as riding a bicycle or playing a musical instrument. The video clip triggers declarative memory by using the method of loci memory technique, helping participants to consciously remember the associated objects in the order of the landmarks. The cup and ball game, on the other hand, leverages procedural memory acquired through repetition, practice, and motor coordination. We conducted 2 user studies to evaluate the effectiveness of LociMotion. In the first study, we examined the effectiveness of LociMotion to help users learn a 12-character random password and recall it 7 days later, compared to a control condition in which the users were left to their own devices to try to remember the 12 random characters. We conducted a user study on Mechanical Turk with 300 participants over 2 sessions, a learning session on day 1 and recall session on day 8. 86% of the participants in the LociMotion condition logged in successfully within 5 attempts, compared to just 42% of participants in the control condition. Participants using LociMotion needed 19 minutes and 22 seconds to learn these strong passwords, as compared to 11 minutes and 54 seconds for the control. The additional time and effort that users put into LociMotion training paid off in much higher recall rates. In the second user study, we aimed to evaluate the effectiveness of LociMotion training interface over a long period of time. To do this, we conducted a user study on Mechanical Turk with 200 participants who learned the password on day 1 and did recall testing on days 2, 5, and 19. We observed a recall rate of 99% on day 2, 96% on day 5, and 81% on day 19. LociMotion also received a score of 74 on the system usability scale, which is considered above average. Overall, these results indicate that LociMotion, with its combination of the method of loci and procedural memory training, can help users memorize secure, high-value authentication secrets such as master passwords, enterprise or admin account passwords.